Hello again. Looking back, I'm actually quite glad that I didn't go to university. Not to say that I look down upon people that go to university and get degrees and PhDs. I think they serve a valuable function and a necessary function of a society, just as I believe the outliers do, and I class myself as an outlier. Somebody not part of the establishment who's come to it himself. A bit of a shaman and not a priest, you know, like Alan Watts, he distinguishes between shamans and priests. He says priests are given their authority from a kind of tradition, you know, that's passed down by a sequence of popes or the apostolic succession, as the Catholic Church has it. Whereas a shaman, he gets his authority from kind of fixing himself, and he goes out into the wilds, and that's where he gets it from. So, I mean, in a sense, what education does, what education functions as, is a way of keeping the intellectual, those with an intellectual ilk, in a kind of infantile state. So you're born, you're a child, right, and you're at home with your parents, and you're always looking over your shoulder, you know, mummy or daddy, am I doing right? Is this good or bad? You know, and you're always asking them, can you check it? Can you check what I'm doing? And when you get to university and you get a PhD or a degree, and you start making papers, you've exchanged mummy and daddy for the consensus of the specific academic discipline that you're in. So and really what they're doing when they're publishing papers amongst themselves, and it's useful, it's necessary, but nevertheless this is what happens, is they've exchanged mummy and daddy for that community, and they're looking back and they're asking, am I thinking right? Is this correct? Am I onto the truth? They never stand on their own 2 feet. But that's necessary. It gets them to go into the minutiae, and I think the problem with a lot of us outliers, not all of us outliers, is that we've got a kind of intolerance for the minutiae. We're more, I see myself as more connecting bits that the academic crowd wouldn't connect just left to themselves. So that's been beneficial, but yeah, it's been isolating somewhat. But hopefully making YouTube videos like this will cure that. I could find in a kind of intellectual, kind of spiritual kind of community to, you know, find my crowd, maybe find my woman, don't know. So yeah, I was just taking this MDPV thing, and it set me quite manic. But it was one of the most beautiful times of my life. I felt so free, you know. It was like all the shackles just dropped, and it wasn't just a light flicked on. It was an access of power. There was before my get up and go, it got up and gone, you know, but now it's just there. And yeah, I went into town with this kind of street preacher. He was preaching hell and damnation, and I was there preaching love. I was like, oh, you know, you just got to talk to each other, it's all there already. And it's typical kind of manic behaviour. At the time, the only kind of framework I had to understand the experience was Christianity, and there's nothing like Christianity to send you nuts if you wake up, because like Alan Watts, he says it in one of his lectures, he says, over here in the West, if you go out in the streets and say I am God, they'll lock you up. And in the East, in India, if you say I am God, they'll go, finally you've realised, now get on with the dishes, mate. You know, it's kind of, this normality is that reality, it's a divine reality. I was sectioned actually for about a couple of weeks, I think. My dad took me to see this doctor, and the doctor goes to me, Chris, oh, he says, so what's wrong then? And I said, oh no, nothing's wrong, God just showed himself to me. And then he just stopped talking to me, just spoke to my dad, he just ignored me. And then we went to see a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was there like, oh, you're not sleeping. You've got to take some Zopiclone. And I was like, look, I don't want to take Zopiclone, it's a kind of benzo, isn't it? And it's really addictive. I've just been freed from all these addictions. And she would say, no, I should take it again. And I was like, look, you know, it's got all these chemicals, they have an effect upon the brain, and then the brain gets used to that effect, and that's addiction, whether you want to call it that or not. And then she said it again. So I just sort of let my anger out. I didn't mean what I said, but after I let my anger out. But I said, look, you're going to have to put me in a straitjacket because I'll kill myself before I get hooked on drugs again. Which is funny, because later on, like 5 years down the road, I got hooked on drugs again. I made the same stupid mistake. I tried fixing myself, but fucked myself up even more, which has been the kind of pattern of my life. Every time I try to fix myself, I've been fucked up. If I've done stuff just for fun and stuff like that, nothing bad's really come of it. Anyway, more to come.